Welcome back. If you just joined us, you're watching KTN Prime. Now, the ghosts surrounding how millions of shillings meant to pay Azimio agents in the 2022 general election have now come back to haunt ODM officials as they trade barbs over how the funds were spent. It has now emerged that retired President Uhuru Kenyatta contributed $500 million shillings for paying Azimio agents, money that reportedly vanished without serving its intended purpose. And as our reporter, affairs reporter, Chris Thyra reports, the chickens are indeed coming home to roast.
The confessions among ODM leaders on how the $500 million shillings contributed by retired President Uhuru Kenyatta and meant to pay Azimio agents in the 2022 general election vanished into thin air started on Saturday when ODM Secretary General Edwin Sifuna launched a scathing attack against Minority Leader in the National Assembly, Junet Mohammed, accusing him of misusing Uhuru's money, which costed Azimio under the late Raila Odinga the presidency.
Wengine walikula pesa ya Uhuru Kenyatta sawa sawa. Mimi najua kama katibu mkuu, pesa nyingi ambaye tulifanyia campaign ilikuwa inatoka kwa Mheshimiwa Uhuru Kenyatta. Alitusupport. Mshenzi mmoja ametambua kwamba kuna ubaya ya pesa ya Uhuru Kenyatta. Nataka niulize Junet. Wewe Junet, pesa ya Uhuru ilianza kuwa mbaya siku gani?
But in a quick rejoinder defending himself, the Suna East lawmaker Junet Mohammed claimed that former President Uhuru Kenyatta released the funds meant for election agents to his blood brother Muhoho Kenyatta. Muhoho then appointed one Mr. Patrick Mburu to take charge of the recruitment and payment of agents. Mburu presented himself as an IT expert, claiming he had the capacity to detect and prevent any manipulation of results by IEBC. According to Junet, to date, Mburu remains an aide of Uhuru Kenyatta, and just this past weekend, he traveled to Nigeria in the company of Uhuru and Kalonzo Musyoka, which he described as a clear evidence that he is not a peripheral figure in these matters.
Unatupeleka Uhuru Kenyatta alishindwa kufanya baba president akiwa na kila kitu. Alikuwa na military, alikuwa na polisi, alikuwa na army, na prison, hata kanjo alikuwa naye. Alishindwa.
Wewe ulikuwa unakula pesa ya Uhuru badala ulipe agents, ukaacha hawa kina Wamunyoro wakatupiga 10-0. Saa hii tunalia huko nje. Kama sio wewe Junet tungekuwa kwa serikali. So mimi huwezi nitisha bwana.
If he knew that the agents were not paid 3.5 years down the line, why was he quiet? Why was he quiet? And what is talking about is going to help the people of ODM. What remedy will that thing do?
However, all the blame lies at the doorstep of Junet Mohammed if the statement by the late Raila Odinga's chief agent in 2022 is anything to go by. According to lawyer Seitabao Ole Kanchuri, Junet Mohammed should not talk about 2022. In his statement, Kanchuri argues, and I quote, "How dare you open a can of worms you know very well will eat you alive?" Raila Odinga himself knew that Junet Mohammed almost single-handedly cost him the 2022 election, and he told me as much. The only reason Raila retained and even promoted Junet was because he was planning to sell out and needed a broker, and Junet happens to be the best broker money can buy, end quote. Former Mukurweini MP Kabando Kabando also trailed his guns on Junet, claiming that he's not honest. In his social media accounts, Kabando states, "You all boisterous and touchable guys were transacting not Baba victory. Chickens are now coming home to roast. Open servers was a deception." End quote. With senior counsel Ahmed Nasir Abdullahi adding to the twist, and I quote, "Crazy world. Junet tells us now how the Jubilee government messed up the polling agents of Raila by eating money meant for the agents as they were confident of a deep state doing the needful. When things turned south, they pivoted to 4 judges of the Supreme Court to save face. After Azimio la Umoja lost the presidency to President William Ruto, both Junet and mining CS Hassan Joho went into hiding, avoiding the public for almost a year, only to resurface when the late Raila Odinga and President Ruto were finalizing the deal on the broad-based government. To date, majority of Azimio supporters still believe that Junet Mohammed, who was a very close ally of Raila Odinga, has some questions to answer on what really transpired on the agent's aspect. Chris Dairo, KTN, Nairobi.
And while still on ODM matters, the wrangles within ODM party continue to deepen each passing day as